Erev Shabbat Shalom, Parshat Shlach. This is the parsha of tzitzis. I'd like to learn a bit with you, what we're really supposed to be doing with tzitzis. You see, the Gemara says that the tchelis and lavan, the blue thread and the white threads, ain't ma'akvim zeh et zeh, they're not ma'akiv each other. We can be mekayim one without the other. Hypothetically, if you had tzitzis with tchelis and lavan, and then the chutim of the tzitzis were torn apart, the lavan was torn apart, you still yotze with the tchelis. And the tchelis, if you don't have tchelis, like many of us don't have today, you're still yotze the mitzvah of lavan. And afal pi kein, the Rambam in the Sefer HaMitzvahs, and mitzvah Yudalid, also in the Yad, counts them as one mitzvah, as opposed to tefillin sheyad and tefillin sherosh, which are counted as two mitzvahs. Tchelis and lavan are perceived as one mitzvah. And the Rambam himself explains, you can see this in Shorish Yud Aleph of Sefer HaMitzvah, she'inyanam echad. There are two sides of one theme, and what's that theme? Urisim oso zachartem et kol mitzvot Hashem vasitem otam. Uritem oto, the Gemara says in Menachos, means the Shechina. It says Uritim oto uzchartem, and the pasuk says oto ta'avod. That same oto, which is oto ta'avod, which is Shechina, is Uritim oto. You somehow have a tool of contemplating and understanding and perceiving Shechina through looking carefully at your tzitzis the way one would expect you to do. Which reminds me of a story. I was once on a train to Baltimore, and this person came and asked me if I am who I am, and well, I wasn't going to say I'm not, and he tried to convince me that I should I think it was 4 pairs a year of tchelis. He figures that if I wear them, and he said, in my talis gadol, that means somehow that'll be like a billboard for sales, for tchelis, for other people to buy. I didn't want to start telling my personal views as whether I think this is tchelis or not. Personally, I think it is not even beginner suffix, but that's not the topic at the moment. But I told them, listen, no, I don't think it works for me. And they said, why? I said, listen, it says, Urisim oso uzachartem es kol mitzvot Hashem. The Gemara says in Menachos, tchelis demer leyam, yam demer lerakia. Rakia is demer lekisei hakavod, and therefore you see the Shechina. Says that this God was talking about people in another generation, because when I think of blue, I think of an Energizer drink. I don't think of the ocean. And if I think of the ocean, I'd have to think about the water. I think about playing ping pong. I don't know what, matkot. And then when I finally get into the water, I think about the sky. And when I think about the sky, I actually love astronomy. Do I think about kisei hakavod? I guess I'm really a defect, and it doesn't really work for me. And he looked at me, he says, are you real? So I said, I actually am. And he understood that I wanted him to leave, and he let me be. But the truth of the matter is, this is a demanding mitzvah. It's demanding you, like any mitzvah, it's expecting you to develop that type of consciousness. Just like the mitzvah of tefillin demands from you to have the capabilities of making or acquiring tefillin, the mitzvah of yediyas haTorah demands from you to do what it takes to know it. The mitzvah of any mitzvah demands, its hechsher mitzvah demands creating the situations which will allow that mitzvah to be fulfilled. Well, the mitzvah Urisim oso zachartem of tzitzis is a command basically in Hilchos Deos. What does it take for you to see things that way? Because that's the biblical man that God is talking about. And the man of the 21st century is commanded to strive for that. Think about that, contemplate that. It's so funny, people, makbid on tchelis and makbid on this. I think the most important thing is supposed to be makbid is on riyisim oso hu hashchina. Because that's the inyan echad of the lavan and the tchelis. The Ram Paskins la'alocha that it's also a taisus and brachos that they beged miyuchad l'tfila is tzitzis. Kesef Mishnah Taka doesn't bring a mucker. We usually, when the Kesef Mishnah just quotes the Rambam, doesn't bring a mucker because he doesn't know. The Agoras Maimonides writes that the idea of Beged Muchat L'Tefillah is based on the Gemara and Shabbos. Reb Yehuda Mitzayin Umatzla, he was Mitzayin B'Godav, means to say it's a Beged, it's Miskashet B'Godim. It was a Beged which is a kishut for a Beged, thus makes it a Beged for Tefillah, not really explaining why. The Pshat is Pashit because we know that the Gemara says that Reb Yehuda bar Eloi used to be Makabel Shabbos with Sadinim Mitzuyotzim, with white clothes which had tzitzis in them. The Rambam paskins this la'aloch in Hilchos Shabbos and Perek Lamed. You bisatev b'tzitzis v'yoyshev v'mitzape ki'ilo likras hamelech. The idea of Kabbalah Shabbos is Kabbalah Pnei Shechina, and therefore you should be wearing tzitzis, a yoshev, a mitzvah. You should be sitting and waiting for it on Friday night, afternoon rather. What's the mucker of this? The mucker is also a Gemara Menachos. This is mentioned before when it says Kol Arzois b'mitzvah zu, and this mitzvah of tzitzis zoicha mekabel Pnei Shechina. Shenemar Yisim Oisai V'Ksiv Oisai Tavai that I mentioned before. If Shabbos is somehow an idea of Kabbalah Pnei Shechina, then it means to say you have to wear Beged Biyuchad L'Shechina, which are Yisim Oisai. When you can contemplate, you put on tzitzis and you're contemplating Shechina, then you're a candidate for actually internalizing these feelings and these ideas and living them. And that's what Shechina means. Shochein B'tocheinu. That which we can touch, feel our religion, experience our God through our minds and ultimately through our hearts, not through just jumping and clapping like children, but actually thinking and being enamored with God through your ideas. That's what we're supposed to be looking at when we wear tzitzis. Because inyan echad. What is this inyan? So it's never pashut that tefillah is a halacha of Oimid Lifnei Hashchina. That's a Rambam Menuchas Tefillah. That's the kavanah of Shemona Esrei. Person was davening Shemona Esrei without the kavanah of Ki'ilu Omid Lifnei Hashchina. State the Rambam, the kavanah is Ma'akiv Ki'ilu Lo Yispalel Klal. Pretty rough. We have to start learning Hilchos Deos and Chayvus HaLevavos before we do Mitzvahs HaYivorim. Rambam says Mefurish in Hilchos Tefillah that if you don't think you're Oimid Lifnei Hashchina, you're not davening. You're not davening, and you're not really wearing your tzitzis, and you're not really being Mekabel Shabbos. That's what the chayva of tzitzis is. That's why it's a Beged Miyuchad L'Tefillah, because it's a Beged Miyuchad the Kabbalah Pnei Hashchina. But what is the Yuchad of this tzitzis? So the Lavan, we know, it says in the Tchelis, we know. How do they work together? The answer is, Shitas HaRambam, that Tchelis is only a half of a chut. You have four chutim, four chutim which you fold, and half of the chut is Tchelis, one chut is Tchelis, and that's what you use to circle around the bunch of the chutim together. These are two psukim. One is called Gdilim. Gdilim is the singular chutim, like hairs, which are bound together, lashon kliya. And there's a din of psil, kind of psil techelis. What does that mean? There's a halacha that you have to have the white threads bound, and then you have to surround them, la kifotam, with the tchelis, and afterwards when it comes out white, further is only lavan. That's a Rambam. You end up with having 8 strings of lavan, and the tchelis is only the makif, that which surrounds and ties them together and makes it into almost like a branch, like a tree with branches. What's the idea behind this? The tzchira achas. It's simply saying one thing. You know, the Gemara says, "Kol ha'omer emes v'yatziv." Our understanding of God is not that God is beautiful and God is great. There are many times in life, specifically the times that we're living in at the moment. On one hand, we have so much chasadim and nisim happening. It's like mind-boggling. On the other hand, we have a lot of questions. A lot of questions. Thousands of people died young, homeless, wounded, widows, orphans. Young boys which should never be more than 19. It isn't all clear. And that's why the Gemara says you have to be able to say Yatziv V'Noch and Boker. When things are clear, you say, wow, I really see God. And Emes Ve'Emunah Laila, when things are non-clear, say, I have total faith in God. You have to be able to do that together in one perspective. It's not like a kaleidoscope. It's got to be a beautiful rainbow of a merging of those two things to be the truth. God is clear as day, Lavan. And God is dark and not understood. He only surrounds us. That's the tchelis which surrounds the Lavan. In Tanya Per Gimel, it's called Or HaSovev, that which surrounds us like a halo above our heads. We don't understand it. The light doesn't come into us, but we realize it's there. It's the God of faith, the God of Tchelis. The God is Rakia, Kishya covered. We know about them, but they're so far away, we don't comprehend them. The ocean was perceived as unfathomable. It's endless. Sky is endless. Kishya covered beyond comprehension. That's what you look at in Tchelis. You look at the endless, incomprehensible God. And that's Sovev, that surrounds the God which I can touch, feel, and experience. It's clear to me. The Emes V'Yatziv Boker, oh yeah. But just to love God because of Emes V'Yatziv Boker is not enough. We need Tchelis because we live lives which are complex, and our God is complex. Our God reacts to us in a complex way because we live complex lives. The story of Tzitzis is that looking at Shekhinah must be able to look at it in a complex way. Merging together the unquenchable thirst for understanding, Lavan, yet the stable, untouchable, non-movable faith of the Tchelis. The Choker needs the Hamunah, and the Hamunah demands the Chakira. Together, it's Isim Oso, then you can see Shechina, Uschartem, Komitzvos Hashem, etc. Have a great Shabbos.